NC State didn't play last night. We've been breaking down all the college basketball ACC action from last night. They played tonight against Notre Dame. And there's a mission, a task, whatever you want to call it for NC State that will not change until it is accomplished. And it is 3 words. Find an identity. Notre Dame isn't scary. But a lot of times when we're previewing these games, I look at it and I'm oftentimes judging the opponent and then discussing or coming up with what I think a team should be looking to do. So if you're facing a team that's bad, I go, all right, winning isn't enough. You need to win and. If you play a really good team, I'm like, all right, all hands on deck, right? Shorten the rotation. Your stars got to play well. Sometimes you need to also keep it relative. Right? If you're a juggernaut team and you're playing a C school, a C opponent, you can treat it that way. You can treat it like, okay, you need to win and. You need to win and improve the defense that was shaky from the previous game. You need to win and get stronger play from your bench because it's been quiet recently. You need to win and. Notre Dame is not a scary team. Relatively to what NC State has put on the floor this year, State's not scary either. Notre Dame against power conference opponents, both non-conference and ACC opponents, as long as they're not mid-majors, 2-6 with wins over Syracuse and Georgetown. NC State in power conference opponents, both non-conference and ACC, 1-6 with a win over Florida State in overtime. Neither of these teams are getting it done when they play other programs of similar size. So it's really not a win-and game for NC State. It's really not, even though Notre Dame is not scary. Because you're also not scary at the moment. You won't be until you find an identity. You won't be until teams have to game plan to stop something. I pride myself, and I say this all the time, it's like a cliche that I try to live by on the show, not just being a problems guy, being a solutions guy. If you complain about something, don't just complain about something. Talk about how it could be fixed, how it could be alleviated. I'm just going to, be a hypocrite here and say, I don't have an answer for what I'm about to bring up. There is a correct way to use the NC State roster. There is some magical combination of roles and minutes and usage and style of play. There is a correct way to use that roster. I don't have it yet. I watched the. Have you ever played Sporkle? This is just an analogy here. Get ready for it.
I've once.
Okay, Sporkle it's kind of a fun game to play if like you and your buddies are hanging out. It could be a drinking game. It's like sports lists trivia. They'll say like, can you name the top 25 players in NBA history at every stat? And it's just like points, rebounds, steals, assists, whatever. And they'll give you 6 minutes on the clock. You type as many as you can, and then at the end you look for who has the most. And the lists can be as tough or not tough as possible. And the thing that always happens for me, I'm pretty good at it because I am a sports nut, but there's usually one super obvious one. It'll say like, who top passers of the 2010s, and it'll say Pittsburgh drafted in 2004, and I'll be sitting there going, oh, come on. Oh, I can see his face. The motorcycle guy. Come on. Oh, my goodness. Miami of Ohio. It's Ben Roethlisberger, right? Like, but for whatever reason, it's not there. That's what it feels like watching NC State basketball. I'm going, they need to, oh gosh, what do they need to, who's the, because you just know that what you're looking at, there is a solution there, but you just can't come up with it. Right? On the contrary, watching UNC, right? UNC was struggling in their non-conference schedule, but almost from the beginning, it was like, RJ Davis is drawing too much attention. He's pressing. He's forcing. You need someone else to take the spotlight, and then he can play off of that. Bada boom, bada bang. They'll at least score more. I don't know if they'll be great on defense, but they'll at least score more. That's quick. NC State's roster is an enigma to me. Michael O'Connell, the numbers will show, the effectiveness will show, needs to be on the floor and needs to have the ball in his hands. right? You see it when he is off the floor due to foul trouble or whatever, the team doesn't play as well. So you're like, all right, we need him on the floor. I'm not sure what I want him to do with it yet once he's there. Sometimes it feels like he shoots him out of the game because he's taking 12, 13 shots, and I'm like, I don't think that's it. But I also watch it and I go, he can't just be a setup guy because some of the others are pressing. He's not big enough to like focus on rebound. Like I don't know. He needs to be out there. What does he need to do? The few times they've looked really good, they'll go on like a half or a 10-minute stretch where they look really good. Oftentimes it's accompanied by Dontrez Styles knocking down a couple threes. Dontrez Styles is shooting 32% from three on the season. My brain's going, all right, that guy needs to shoot more threes, knock him down. That's when they look their best. The right brain, left brain, the other side is arguing, no, you're not telling the guy shooting 32% from three to shoot more. Coming into the year, we heard now that DJ Burns had exhausted his eligibility, they could play more in the style that Coach Kevin Keatts wanted to play, which includes getting up and down the floor, running. They are, I looked this one up today, according to TeamRankings.com, they are 331st in possessions per game. I don't even know how. I knew there were 300-something in Division I basketball. 331, that's darn near the bottom.
331st in terms of possessions per game. That's slower than UVA.
That's all the way down there.
That's like slower than what we've known, like the old Tony Bennett UVA.
But here's where the enigma comes in. They're playing 9 guys at least 10 minutes. So I'm going, if your rotation is that deep, you should be trying to run other teams out of the gym because there's very few teams that are going to play 9 guys an average of 10 minutes or more. I watched this, so maybe that's it. Maybe it's run, but also if you're not shooting a high percentage, the more possessions it becomes more.
I know they want to press, but if you're not shooting efficiently, it's hard to get into your press.
Also true. It's a weird team that hasn't put it together yet, but I'm confident it's there. Right? Like I know it's there because we've seen guys like Brandon Huntley Hatfield has not been playing as well as he did last year at Louisville. So he has that ability within him somewhere. You just have to figure out the code to unlock it. We know Michael O'Connell can play really well. He was one of the main characters of a Final Four run. Just have to unlock it. So yes, I just did everything I tried not to do. I just brought up a whole bunch of things that they need to solve and offered absolutely no solutions.
This to me is sometimes what you get as a byproduct of being transfer portal heavy.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have an identity. We saw with NC State football. We're seeing with NC State basketball. I think UNC basketball is still trying to figure out a little bit. Granted, they're a little bit more of a blend of recruited guys, but they do have a few transfers in there. It's guys, again, trying to figure out an identity of a team, and they just don't know it yet.
Yep, and they've like auditioned a few, right? They're walking out at like coming out. Okay, maybe we're this team. That didn't work. All right, maybe we're this team. That didn't work. Maybe that one kind of worked. All right, let's tweak it. Never mind, that didn't work. It's a process. And normally I would say a team like Notre Dame, you're like, all right, this is a chance to audition a whole bunch of things. Go try some things. But you got to win the game too, so don't go too crazy.